Hey, welcome to my channel, or welcome back, loyal viewers, subscriber people. I'm Carrie, the nosy housefrau, today sticking my nose in on the topic of Thomas Halbert coming clean. It's a very good week for redemption. He picked interesting timing. I actually only knew about this video through a tweet that Tawny Michelle did, saying that she thought it was the most growth she had seen. Now, I am doing this in my car because my schedule has changed today and I have to go see a very sick friend. So, unfortunately, I really wanted to do this right. Sit at my computer, show you some clips, edit in some things next to each other, but I'm going to have to do it by description solely, lest I risk not getting the darn thing out at all. So forgive me for this format, but I'll try to make it worth listening to either way. Thomas Halbert put out a video about coming clean, and just to give you a little history, I never was on the right foot with Thomas Halbert. The first time I saw him was when a user I really like, GadgetBeat30, her name is Jasmine. Check out her channel, it's going to be linked below. She had done a video exposing the fact that this guy had promised her, and I have a previous video on this as well, that she had won something and he promised he was going to ship it out. And then he didn't. And then she had moved and asked him to use a new address, which was something he used as an excuse to not send it, and saying that she just kept changing her address because once is just massively huge. There's no way to possibly keep track of an address when someone is perfectly communicating with you and giving you the new address. At any rate, he didn't send it, and in the long run, he tried to make it look like she was stalking him, harassing him. He gaslit her reputation and everything. And no, this didn't sit well with anyone, and some of us made videos about it. I had not known who he was before, but he was already successful on YouTube and had a lot of people who adored him. And he had made a video after her video, a little Snapchat, I think, or an Instagram that he deleted pretty quickly. But in it, he said, some of the people defending her are like old ass boop boop bitches. If you say it low, they won't demonetize you. Anyway, that is what he said. And then I did a video thanking him for giving me my gang name member. And I think it was Jamie at Glowy Beauty Addiction who first coined OAB, the acronym. And so I actually, after that we were calling ourselves that. We've been calling ourselves that ever since. We turned that into a positive. But I didn't like it because of that. And I told him, listen, this is not it, basically. And, if you really have a problem with age, feel free to stop aging. That wasn't, I was in a dark place. So he blocked me. So, now he's turned over a new leaf in this week of redemption, and so I don't mind telling you that I looked at this with my skepticals. Tawny Michelle is such an empathetic, kind person, and because she knows what it's like to turn her life around, she's always willing to give people that second chance. And I'm all about second, third, and fourth chances, as everyone says, but I still had to look at this with my skepticals on, because apology videos are done wrong so many times, and I did see things wrong with this. The first 4 minutes and 40 seconds or so was him explaining why you should feel bad for him. And okay, he wants to share his struggles, you could say, and that takes courage to upload. But I feel like since this is a coming clean video, that is in essence an apology video, is it not? Because he goes on to talk about how he struggled and how he feels terrible about the way he acted, and said, and this part he said right, I was a toxic, immature person. And then he says, I don't feel a need to rehash this. So he goes into great detail about his suffering, very vague about his apologies, about his wrongdoing. Where have we seen this before? Everywhere. Every time there's an apology video, this is what we see. All of the reasons we should excuse the behavior with none of the details because somehow that's not necessary. He said two things almost in two different sentences that were directly quotes of what Jeffrey had said in his video the day before, and these are the two clips I wanted to show side by side. He said, there's no need to rehash it, I would just be involving people who don't want to be involved. That was something Jeffrey said in his video before. He also gave the brief detail of, well, I stuck my nose in where it didn't belong. That is exactly what Jeffrey said in his video the day before. Could be that was just stuck in his mind subliminally, but it was direct quotes from what Jeffrey had said in his video, and could be a coincidence. I have to concede that is possible, but I just thought that was very coincidental. And then he, goes on to say how he suffered and how he struggled. And this is where I do not like to watch people struggle. Having a guilty conscience is one reason to believe somebody is remorseful, the fact that it's bothering him. But most of what he said was about it bothering him that he's hated, and that's not the same thing as your own behavior bothering you. So it's almost like you could say all of these reasons to feel sorry for him, plus on top of the fact that he's remorseful that people don't like him. That's, that to me doesn't bode well for the apology. However, it's an honest share, and it's valid. Anybody would feel that way. He goes on to say that he's up nights, he's panicked, he's, all of these things. Somebody had said he's losing money, and all of these other things are affecting him and affecting his reputation. So he felt bad. He also said a very key thing, that he's going to continue to try and right these wrongs. Now, first of all, I am a big believer that if you need to be a better person, if you need to grow and move on, you must forgive yourself. You have to forgive yourself. Like this feeling of redemption, it's a very good question. How do you change, and how do you change your reputation on social media? Does that follow you forever? Probably in a sense it can, but I do think you can transcend it. And that takes time, sincerity, and righting those wrongs, as you say. But this is the biggest problem of all for me with Thomas's video. He still has Gadget Beat 30, Jasmine, blocked. I talked to her this morning. She's still blocked. So how are you righting these wrongs when you haven't even reached out to one of the people that you've wronged in a huge way? Not even just a little bit wrong. You're 100% wrong in what you did to her. So to me, it would go a long way to his redemption if he would send her a card and send her some gifts, as he was supposed to in the first place. Just take the courage to reach out to the people you've hurt. I know it's not easy, but you put up this video that takes courage, and you're facing it in a sense that you're appealing to everyone with this need to turn over a new leaf, and suffering and struggling because you're having such a hard time living with yourself. Well, I don't believe you, Thomas. You're only as good as your worst deed, and certainly you don't have to prove anything to me or anyone else. When it comes to your reputation, you are going to care what people say and what their feedback is. But at the end of the day, you report to you. You have to live with your behavior. And if it were me, I would feel that I wouldn't need to make it public, but I would feel, okay, this is somebody I hurt. They may not accept my apology. This is scary. They may slam the door in my face, but at least I'll know I tried, because I'm going to attempt to reach out to this person and make it right. Gosh, damn construction. Oh, sorry. The Ohio flowers, the orange cone is in full bloom. Full bloom. So yeah, I feel like he should reach out to Jasmine and send her a card, send her a gift. That's what I would do. And I think that if you're going to put up this video telling everybody how much you've changed, but really all it is about how everyone should feel sorry for you and you've suffered enough. No, I'm sorry. One of the worst things you did was her, and the stuff that you did with Jeffree Star was Machiavellian completely. You were in one camp talking to talk about playing both sides of the fence, which you do admit you did, but not in detail, because you don't feel that you need to rehash any. As he put it, there's no need to rehash it. Well, maybe there's no need for you. Maybe it doesn't suit your needs, but rehash it for the people you're trying to appeal to. They need a big old side of rehash browns. Go into the details. People, if you're really sorry, tell people what you regret. A good apology includes those details in order to be more believable. It just went on and on about how you're in a bad relationship, you've suffered with your eating disorder, you've suffered. So now anything I say against you, I'm a heartless monster. Or everybody already knows I feel like a bog monster. But anything I say against you, you've set it up so that now I'm attacking a victim. And I'm sorry. But just like I felt when I didn't even know who Gadget Beat 30 was, I have the empathy to still feel bad for her. And knowing she's a wonderful person, I think you really ought to do right by her, because she's kind and she's nice. And I believe she would accept your apology. I could be wrong, but you know what? You don't just give people apologies when you think they'll accept them. You give people apologies when they deserve them. And even if they don't accept your apology, I promise you, if your conscience is eating at you, you will feel better knowing you tried. Knowing that you at least asked for forgiveness and tried to do the right thing. So I don't want to see a young man struggle. And a lot of these things do have to do with age, by the way. We like to think that everything we think is original, but sometimes there is a thought process that is very much connected to the age and stage we are at in life. I remember in my 40s feeling that I had let go or outgrown some of the foolishness of my youth. And it turns out this little epiphany that I had is very common and very typical among 42 to 45-year-olds. So now that I'm in my 50s and I've really let go of a lot of my ego, and I give back and I visit sick friends, and now that I do these things, I realize that this isn't that unique either. These are things that are very typical for a woman who's 51. I know, I don't look a day over 50 and a half, but I'm 51. And I hope Thomas is wise enough to listen, however abrasively or bluntly I put it. I'm really not trying to wield my honesty like a blunt instrument. I'm trying to be helpful in that I believe that you have to forgive yourself to make your life better. But you'll know when that happens. You'll know because you are always parenting yourself. You're your judge and jury. And when you ask yourself, did I do this right or I did this wrong? You know the answers to those. And you know when you've wronged people. And you have to have the courage to apologize properly. Back when he did those things that he did, I think he should examine why that happened. He was young, he had some success very fast, he was around people that fed into insecurity, and he was already insecure, and probably insecure people make poor decisions socially. That's not something beyond redemption. You can do very horrible things and be forgiven because it takes recognizing it and being sorry about it. I don't believe that you're beyond redemption, but you have to also forgive yourself. That's a very important part of it. So get off the cross and start doing stuff right. Do the tough stuff. Do the stuff that you're most afraid of. And I promise you, good things will come from that. You won't feel so bad about yourself. You won't be able to just go, I feel bad all the time. I feel unworthy. He had said in his video that he just feels like a failure all the time. My question is, who did you fail? What did you fail at? What is the goal? Because maybe the goals aren't right. I'll share a psychology word with everybody, and I am not a licensed therapist, but this word I really like. It's incongruence. It's from the first year of psychology, Psych 101, incongruence. When your real self doesn't match your ideal self, you become incongruent, and people struggle with that. It's harder to live with. And it's possible, I see that in Thomas, he seems to be incongruent. He has this idea of where he should be, who he should be, but a lot of it could be wrapped up in what other people's opinions of him are. And that's a problem, and you maybe need to change your idea of who you're supposed to be. And when you ask yourself, what have I failed to do? Ask yourself if that goal was appropriate for you. Do you have the right goals? What is it you want from yourself on a daily basis? You'll find if you're looking at the right things, you're going to have a lot more success. So have the courage to apologize properly and really take strides to make it up for people. And you'll know when you feel that you've redeemed yourself. And even if other people remind you, there'll always be a troll who throws the past back in your face. You'll be able to shrug it off because you will have learned the most important skill of all, and that is making your own opinion the one that counts most. So forgive yourself, have the courage to ask for forgiveness, and have the courage to have the right goals, and look at everything you don't think you need to rehash it anyway, not just in therapy. Or at least give people links to what happened and say, I faced this, I'm owning it. That's true ownership. Okay, Hausfrau off the soapbox, and hopefully this wasn't so disjointed. And I'm sorry if people think I'm being mean. Maybe I am. It's part of the bog monster phase, but I have to look at everything with my skepticals on. I hope you're all having a good day wherever you are. Remember, don't be too hard on yourselves. Don't be incongruent. Have the right goals. Be nice to other people and yourself as well. And we'll talk again soon.